Here is something that most dog owners never want to hear. You can love your dog completely, genuinely, with everything you have, and still do things every single day that quietly damage the bond between you. Not because you are cruel. Not because you do not care enough. But because love sent in the wrong language does not always land the way it was meant. Dogs do not measure love the way we do. They do not care about your intentions. They care about how safe you make them feel. How consistent you are. How well you listen to the signals they are constantly sending. And when those things are missing, even accidentally, something between you quietly erodes. Today we are looking at 7 everyday things that hurt your dog far more than most owners realize. Stay for number 7 especially, because that is the one people defend the most. The one they call discipline. The one they believe is building character. When in reality, the science tells a very different story. Your dog turns their head away. They lick their lips. They freeze for a fraction of a second. Their body goes still. And eventually, if all of that goes unnoticed, they growl. And then the owner tells them off for growling. But here is the thing. The growl was not the problem. It was the last line in a conversation your dog had been trying to have for the past several minutes. Everything before the growl, the lip lick, the stiffening, the look away, was your dog speaking as quietly and politely as they knew how. The growl was what happened when nothing worked. When we punish that final signal, we are not teaching our dogs to be calmer. We are teaching them that expressing discomfort is unsafe. So the dog goes quiet. The warnings disappear. And most owners think the problem has been solved, when in reality the dog has simply stopped warning before they act. A dog who feels heard does not need to shout. A dog who learns their communication does not work eventually stops communicating altogether. That is one of the quietest ways trust gets broken between a person and their dog: hugging. Pressing your face against theirs. Squeezing. Constant reaching and handling. To us, it feels warm and loving. To many dogs, it feels something closer to being restrained. The vast majority of dogs tolerate this, not because they enjoy it, but because they know you, they are gentle, and they have learned that protesting does not change anything. But tolerance is not the same thing as consent. And there is a significant difference between a dog who melts into touch and a dog who endures it politely. When a dog turns their head away during a kiss, that is communication. When their body tightens mid-cuddle, that is communication. When they yawn or go still while being handled, that is communication. And when we continue anyway because we are being affectionate, the message the dog receives is this: what you want matters less than what I need. Real affection in a dog's world tends to be quieter. A hand offered before touch. A stroke on the chest rather than a palm dropped over the head. Space to move away without being followed. Contact that feels chosen rather than imposed. When you get that right, your dog does not just feel touched, they feel respected. Today the sofa is allowed. Tomorrow it is not. Last week jumping up made you laugh. This week it earns a sharp correction. Yesterday the barking was fine. Today it pushed you past the edge. Humans adapt to inconsistency because we understand context. Dogs do not. Dogs build their understanding of the world through patterns. Patterns are how they know what is safe. How they predict what happens next. How they decide who they can trust. When the rules keep changing based on what kind of day you are having, your dog cannot build a reliable map of you. And without that map, they live with a low level of uncertainty that never quite goes away. Not because you are cruel, because you are unpredictable. And unpredictability has a real cost. It creates dogs who are more watchful, more hesitant, less settled in your presence. Dogs who are always slightly braced for a version of you they cannot anticipate. Consistency does not mean perfection. It means showing up recognizably, so your dog knows what to expect from the person they have built their world around. For most people, a walk is movement. Exercise. A box ticked. Get from A to B, cover some distance, come home. For a dog, a walk is something else entirely. It is how they read the world. Who passed through overnight? What changed since yesterday? What is new, what is familiar, what is safe? The walk is not just physical exercise, it is mental orientation. It is how your dog processes the neighborhood they live in. So when every walk becomes a constant stream of leave that, come on, not now, keep moving, hurry up, your dog loses the most important emotional outlet they have. And over time, the walk shifts from feeling like shared time to feeling like being rushed through a world they are never given space to understand. Letting a dog stop and sniff is not indulging them. It is letting them do what their brain needs to do. And when that is taken away consistently, the quiet message is, your pace matters. Your needs can wait. Mine cannot. The intentions here are almost always good. He needs to get used to it. She has to learn to be braver. If we keep exposing her, she will realize it is fine. Gentle, gradual exposure to the things that worry a dog absolutely has a place. But there is a meaningful difference between that and simply holding a dog in a situation that is overwhelming them and waiting for them to stop reacting. When a dog is flooded with fear and has no way out, no distance, no choice, no one noticing the signals, they are not learning that the world is safe. They are learning that when they struggle, the person they trust keeps them in the difficulty anyway. That changes something important. The distress is no longer just about the loud noise or the strange dog or the busy room. It becomes attached to your judgment as well. Real confidence in dogs grows from supported experience, distance, recovery time, small wins, the sense that someone noticed when things got hard. Not from being held inside overwhelm and told it is for their own good. The dog barks, you look up. The dog paws at you, you respond. The dog whines and suddenly has your full attention. But the quiet moments? The gentle lean against your leg. The soft look across the room. The toy placed at your feet without any noise. The calm check-in at the doorway. Those went unnoticed. Dogs are constantly making small, quiet bids for connection. Most of them are easy to miss because they are not disruptive. And if the only bids that consistently work are the loud ones, the dog draws a very logical conclusion: calm is invisible. Volume gets results. That is how some owners unintentionally create the very neediness that exhausts them. Not by loving too much. By overlooking the quieter signals until the dog has no real choice but to turn up the volume. In those soft moments, your dog was not asking for much. Just to be noticed. And when you catch those moments and respond, it means more to them than most owners ever realize: the stern voice. The looming posture. The repeated correction delivered with frustration rather than guidance. And the justification that follows: the dog is stubborn, testing limits, needs to understand who is in charge. But in the vast majority of cases, a dog who is not responding is not defiant. They are confused. Overwhelmed. Working with information that has not been made clear enough. And when confusion is met with pressure and intimidation, something specific happens: the dog does not become more emotionally secure. They become more cautious. More watchful. Less willing to try things in case trying brings consequences. Research into training methods has found that dogs trained using more aversive approaches showed signs of more pessimistic thinking. They were more likely to expect a negative outcome in uncertain situations. And this was not just a change in what the dog did. It was a change in how the dog felt about the world. When a dog is already struggling to understand and our answer is to make them feel smaller, we are not building confidence. We are confirming that the world, and the person in front of them, is less safe than it appeared a moment ago. None of this makes you a bad owner. It makes you human. The gap between loving your dog and your dog feeling loved is not a gap of effort or care. It is a gap of language. And once you start learning to speak in a way your dog can actually receive, through consistency, through respect for their signals, through noticing the quiet moments alongside the loud ones, the whole relationship shifts. Your dog is not asking for perfection. They are asking to be understood. And once they feel understood, they stop having to work so hard to communicate it. Everything you have been watching them try to tell you, they have been saying it all along. Subscribe to Raffaloo. Remy will be here tomorrow with more paw prints.